Welcome to Wiseguy Confidential, everyone. Today's show is dedicated to the 214,000 Americans and the 8 million plus that have been infected and or have died to COVID-19. This does not include the president, who obviously never had COVID-19 and was using it as a political ploy to deflect attention from his tax fraud and from the terrible, petulant performance he had in the debate where he lost to Vice President Joe Biden. One thing's clear in this whole pandemic mess is that the president doesn't care about the health of the rest of us, not even those who protect him, not even those who are charged with giving their life to protect his, like our Secret Service agent, like our Marines, or the Navy doctors who cared for him, or the nurses and the staffing, going out, making a parade around the hospital, just an entire political stunt. If he did have COVID, then he's just the most irresponsible person, not only president, but maybe one of the most irresponsible people ever. Because based on the timeline, it's clear that at the debate he already was infected with COVID, if in fact he had COVID, which obviously he most likely did not, does not and did not. A person with morbid obesity like the president of advanced age and with his health condition, which clearly he must have diabetes, most likely has high blood pressure, it would have affected him much worse than it did. But we'll play along and say, let's say he did have COVID. Well, unlike the rest of us, he has the best medical care in the world. He has access to miracle drugs that the rest of us do not, all free, covered on our tax dollars because he was irresponsible. Now, some people have said we need to be sympathetic and empathetic if the president is ill. No, we do not, because this is somebody who, unlike a doctor who gets COVID while they're caring for patients, who, of his own stupidity, of his own arrogance, subjected himself and others to poor behavior that was completely against his own Surgeon General, his own CDC guidelines, hugging people, kissing people, in close proximity to people, breathing on other people in close proximity, having large gatherings, not practicing social distancing, encouraging in rallies to keep people close together intentionally just for the optics so that the arenas could look crowded. So everything he's done along the way brought us to this point. From the fact that he lied and he knew that the virus was deadly, and the fact that he knew that so many people were at risk of dying, as we've lost so many of our loved ones, and so many of us have lost our jobs, our businesses, the opportunity to see our loved ones in their last days dying in the convalescent home, in a hospital, people not able to go to their graduation, their prom. So many things have been ill-affected by his decision to lie and not deal with the pandemic. And one theory is that he knew that there was going to be a great loss of life. But because he's not a part of the rest of us, we the 99%, some theorize that it was a calculated decision, basically population control, to thin the herd, as people say, thin the herd, knowing that he is very unpopular with the elderly. So he made a conscious decision to let those people die, and others, because as we saw, he has access to everything and anything that he needs, including the helicopter ride to the hospital and back. Let me make one thing abundantly clear to those of you who support this person, this irresponsible joke of a man, this clown of a man. This person is using our people that work for us, the taxpayers. They do not work for him. None of the staffing works for him. None of the people get paid work for him. They work for us. Those are our people. Those are not his people. Though he likes to think that he's a dictator, like that pathetic display he put on the balcony of the White House, saluting. I mean, I've never seen somebody so desperate to be viewed as a military strongman who never served, who refused to serve. But yet there he was, saluting, making a big spectacle. Not just once, twice. And it's all a big pageant for him. And our people, our workers are not supposed to be used as part of his pageant, part of his show that was specifically aimed at taking away attention from his tax fraud and from his pathetic performance in the debates against with Vice President Joe Biden. In the midst of all these problems that are going on with our health care and people dying left and right and suffering, many of you do not know Trump is trying to take away the Affordable Care Act, also known as Obamacare, which is not, the legal name of it is not Obamacare. It's the Affordable Care Act. He's trying to take that away from people with pre-existing conditions, especially people like myself. Now, when I did have health insurance, I was paying almost $1,000 a month. I could not afford that because of pre-existing condition I was born with through no fault of my own. And there are many, many people like myself out there that have these same types of challenges. Now, why is he doing this? Why is he trying to take away healthcare? He's trying to take away healthcare because the healthcare cartel, the organized crime that is the healthcare is really should be called the health cartel. He's doing it to serve those doing the bidding of the big money of the HMOs and the for-profit industry. Now, there's no reason why, with the money that's being squandered in this country, with people in weapons manufacturers making, on average, hundreds of times more than our troops, even hundreds of times more in their lifetime than our generals and our admirals. That is completely unacceptable. There is no reason why weapons manufacturers need to be making millions upon millions of dollars. I'm not talking about the entire organization. The CEOs of weapons manufacturing companies are making hundreds of times more than our troops who are putting their lives on the line every day. Though that type of money that's squandered could easily be channeled into paying for healthcare for all. And if there's people out there that want to keep their private insurance, both the president and Vice President Biden have it wrong. The correct way to deal with it is a public option that is not about signage, billboards, TV commercials, radio commercials, giveaway coffee cups, marketing. The healthcare system that the public can buy into, either in a sliding scale or if you're low income, should be for free. That people who want to have private insurance are welcome to have private insurance. If a person wants to pay to have an HMO and they want to pay so that their HMO could spend $30 to $40% of their budget to pay for their CEOs and for their investors to profit off of people that are sick and limit care. Anyone who wants to pay for-profit healthcare, the healthcare cartel, the healthcare mafia, they can do that. So you don't take away people's choice, and those who don't want to and they want to go for the public option like Medicare for all, people can do that as well. The ridiculous thing about our healthcare system, and all decent people will agree, we definitely have to take care of our children. We definitely have to take care of our elderly. Across the board, in every survey I've been a part of, every study I've been a part of and I'm aware of, people say yes to seniors, yes to children. And we're going to neglect our most vital part of our society, our earners, between 18 and people in their early 60s. That's the system that we have in place. Everyone needs to be covered with healthcare. Because as we see, the viruses and diseases don't know who has health care and who doesn't. And it doesn't isolate to one person or one class of people or one income earner. Sickness is a disease spread. So when we have our people healthy and happy, that translates into a productive society, a less violent society, and a more productive in the way that they're paying taxes. These are not the ramblings of a bleeding heart. I am a small business owner. Yes, my background is in social work and community building and empowering youth. For over 30 years, I've been doing this. But this is smart business. Our number one resource is our people. Our people are the driving force behind this country. We have an investment that needs to be made in taking care of our people in order so they can produce. Sick people at home are not productive and don't contribute to a tax base. And oftentimes they're miserable, their loved ones are miserable, and everyone who they come in contact with is miserable because they're unhappy in their life because they're sick. And I have many people that I know who are Christian who say that, oh, that's just the way it is. We don't want to have healthcare for everybody because we have healthcare for everybody. My line's going to be longer, like the way the rumor, the fallacy, the lies that come out of extreme right-wing talking points that the lines will be longer, we won't have healthcare, good healthcare, and they compare it to European countries or to Canada. Well, if you're a Christian or anybody who believes in a divine creator, do you think that when Jesus raised Lazarus from the dead or brought him back to life, however you want to say it, you think he stopped and asked, hey, before I help you, do you have an HMO? Do you have a PPO? How are we going to pay for this service, sir? No, we're about taking care of others. Do unto others. Loving your fellow man, loving your fellow neighbor. Loving your neighbor, I should say. So keep in mind that this is smart business more than it is just being nice to people. We have an opportunity to improve our country significantly and end this ridiculous debate once and for all. Healthcare is a right. It should not be a privilege. It should not be for only somebody who's in perfect health, only somebody who's young and easy to insure. And with that productivity, with that better health, with that better behavior, all those things are going to make our country more livable, more prosperous, and across the board it's going to be a much better place to live. Same thing holds true for education. Education, post-secondary education and trade school, it should not be a choice of cost an arm and a leg and put people in the poorhouse because you want to have an education. And I'll remind you, once again, all our money that's being squandered on nuclear weapons, we have enough nukes to destroy the planet 1,000 times over. Well, this disease, this COVID, brought our country to its knees and shut down our economy basically and put us in a deep recession without one shot being fired. And we cannot nuke the virus. We can't shoot the virus. We can't send Rambo to go get the virus. So we clearly have to do more in the way of healthcare. That, as my mother used to say, if you don't have your health, you don't have anything. So that's where it's at. And if any commander, the fact that we weren't prepared for what amounts to a biological attack, the fact that we weren't prepared for that alone is criminal. Any commander in the military who lost even 10,000 troops and said, I didn't see it coming, I wasn't prepared, nobody could have, and then blame it on another country and keep blaming it on everybody else, you would be relieved of your command and you may be brought up on charges. The haphazard way that the United States is being run is shameful and it's a disgrace. This medical catastrophe that we're living through is an embarrassment. Our personal protective equipment needs to be made here in the United States. All the medical equipment, etc., always be made in the United States. Stop with this made in China stuff. We'll create more jobs, we'll create more opportunity, and we'll be better prepared and suited for any future attacks, any future biological warfare. So, in closing, a couple of things. I want you to please do me a favor, head over to YouTube, subscribe to our channel, Wiseguy Confidential, leave a comment, share. If I could just appeal to you guys just to take the time to do that, I would really appreciate it. It would mean a lot to me. Subscribe, comment, let me know your thoughts in the comment section here. Let your people know. A lot of this has to do with us not being engaged and us not voting and not being involved. And to that end, I want to ask you guys to check out the shirts, Equal Rights. It's all about equal rights, guys. No one's asking for a special treatment. Everybody just wants to be treated equally and have the same opportunity to succeed in this country, because all of us built it, all of us contribute to it. And if you're interested, you could DM here. We're signing for $19.99, celebrating the life of Justice Ginsburg, and you could that includes the shipping and handling. Tell your people, size small, extra small through extra large, and the money's going to a good cause. So again, I'm not always going to tell you what you want to hear, guys, but I'm always going to tell you the way it is. Shout out to all the first responders, all the frontline workers, essential workers. We love you guys. We appreciate you guys. Stay safe. God bless. Avoid the COVID.